You are listening to Practical and Woo by Mindset and Manifest. My name is Eden, and I invite you to embark on a journey with me to explore the practical and spiritual edges of the unknown for the purpose of allowing you to embody and empower yourself uniquely as you are and to intentionally create and live a life of freedom and fulfillment. Each week, I am going to discuss topics such as energetics, reality creation, manifestation, astrology, tarot, and more to help empower you to live beyond perceived limitations and to practically design your life so it feels like absolute magic every step of the way. Let's dive in. Well, hello, brilliant soul. Today's episode comes from an experience I had a couple of days ago. An experience that reminded me that things and people are rarely what they seem. I'm inviting you to journey with me as we explore the intricate balance between perception and reality, the stories we tell ourselves, and the quiet shimmer of the truth that lies beneath. Now, let me start with a scene. Picture me at the aquarium, mesmerized by the underwater world. The fish, with their delicate movements and vivid colors, seemed like creatures from another realm. It was all magic. Until I walked by an exhibit that we're all somewhat familiar with. Piranhas. Most of us know piranhas as fierce, bloodthirsty creatures. They've been cast as villains in countless movies and stories, synonymous with the idea of cruelty and fear. Even the word piranha conjures images of feeding frenzies and danger. But as I stood before their tank, watching them glide through the water, I noticed something that truly surprised me. These fish, supposedly so dangerous, carried a radiant shimmer along their bodies, golden specks that caught the light just so, like tiny fragments of sunlight scattered across their sleek forms. It was like looking at shards of divinity cascading over their bodies. They were beautiful in their own way, almost ethereal. And then, as if on cue, I saw a sign next to the exhibit that asked a question that immediately struck a chord in my heart. It read something to the effect of, are piranhas really as cruel and evil as they are said to be? The answer? A resounding no. I leaned in closer and read that piranhas are actually quite shy and timid creatures by nature. Their notorious feeding frenzies only happen when food is absolutely scarce, when they are desperate, scared, and unsure of their own survival. In most cases, they swim peacefully, unassuming, and far from the aggressive monsters that they've been made out to be. They're creatures of the wild, just like all of us, doing what they need to do when survival becomes a primary mode of existence. Their terrifying reputation is a projection. And it got me thinking, how often do we do this to ourselves? How often do we do this to others? How often do we project our own narratives onto others and fail to see the shimmering specks of divinity within them? I want to talk with you about projection for a moment. This experience reminded me of how easily we fall into the trap of projecting our own insecurities, fears, and stories onto the world around us, especially onto other people. We all do it. We see someone's actions or hear their words, and we react based on the narratives that we've carried for so long, making us believe them to be true. It's like looking at the world through tinted glasses and convincing yourself that what you see is, in fact, truth. But in actuality, that tint is just a reflection of your inner world. And when we react based on those projections, we often do so from a place of fear, defensiveness, or judgment. Think about the last time you had a negative reaction towards someone. Perhaps it was something they said, maybe the way they looked. Maybe it was simply the vibe they gave off. Now ask yourself, was my reaction about them, or was it actually about me? Was I projecting my own fears or insecurities onto them? Let's go back to the piranhas for a moment. They have been cast as symbols of cruelty because of a narrative that's been projected onto them. But the reality is far more nuanced. They are, in essence, creatures sometimes trying to survive in challenging or dangerous conditions, much like us. And here's the thing, how often do we judge someone based on the narratives that we've been fed without stopping to ask what's really going on here? Facing our world bravely with compassion instead of cruelty. So much of our discomfort with others comes from our inability to face our own discomfort with ourselves. We project what we cannot accept about our own fears and inadequacies onto others, labeling them with tags like mean, insecure, arrogant, or cruel. Because deep down, these are the qualities that we fear might exist within us, we fear might be exposed. But if we are brave enough to pause and ask ourselves, what am I really seeing here? We might realize that what we perceive in others is often a reflection of something unresolved within ourselves. So what can we do about this illusion of our mind, this trick of the light? Here's where tolerance and equanimity come in. To truly live in alignment with peace and purpose, we have to learn how to hold space for differences within ourselves and in others without rushing to judgment or reaction. Equanimity means that you don't get swept up in the frenzy of emotions, stories, and projections. It's about remaining centered, calm, and grounded no matter what chaos seems to swirl around you. Just like those golden specks shimmering across the body of the piranha, equanimity asks you to see the divinity in every situation. The more we practice equanimity, the more we realize that the narratives we cling to are often just that. They're narratives. They don't reflect the whole truth. Someone you perceive as cruel may just be hurting. Someone you've labeled as selfish may be struggling with a scarcity mindset. Now, I'm not suggesting you need to put yourself in harm's way, because of course, self-responsibility, protecting your peace, and setting inner and outer boundaries is also part of the process of showing up as a fortified you. It's simply about compassionately acknowledging that just as the piranhas aren't inherently vicious, the people we judge are not inherently bad. When we approach life from a place of tolerance and open-heartedness, we begin to see the world and the people in it for who they truly are, not for who we think they are. So how do we cultivate tolerance and equanimity? By recognizing that every person is on their own journey. Everyone is carrying their own set of struggles, fears, hopes, and dreams. The person you're so quick to judge might be carrying burdens you can't even imagine, obstacles that you're potentially not even designed to understand. And just like the piranhas who only frenzy when pushed to their absolute limit, people too have their breaking points. It's easy to judge someone in a difficult moment. But what if we asked ourselves instead, what must they be going through to act in this way? How can I see the divinity within them rather than the surface level behavior? Here's the other part of the equation. It's not just about how we see others. It's also about how we see ourselves. We are often our harshest critics. We project our deepest insecurities not only onto others, but onto ourselves. We beat ourselves up for not being enough, not good enough, or smart enough, successful enough, or happy enough. But what if we could learn to approach ourselves with the same tolerance, the same equanimity that we extend to others? Think about how much lighter your life could feel if you stopped judging yourself so harshly, if you stopped reacting to every negative thought with fear, anxiety, or self-loathing. If instead you could see the golden specks of divinity shimmering across your own being. Just like the piranha isn't inherently evil, you aren't inherently flawed. You are a being of light, doing the best you can with what you have in every single moment. And if you choose to embrace the lessons that you're being asked to learn, then I know you are growing, fortifying, and transforming into the next iteration of you in every moment, too. And when you start to see yourself this way, with tolerance, compassion, and equanimity, you begin to free yourself from the narratives that have held you back for so long. You begin to free yourself from the narratives that invite you to cast judgments on others. You start to live from a place of acceptance and peace rather than fear and judgment. I want to invite you into a practice of objective self-observation. The next time you catch yourself either judging someone or yourself, take a breath. Get curious about it rather than defensive. Remember the piranha. Remember that things are rarely what they seem. And remember that behind every behavior, every projection, there is a deeper story, one that's rooted in fear, survival, or misunderstanding. Choose to see the shimmering specks of divinity in everyone you encounter. Choose tolerance, choose equanimity. And as always, keep your heart open because that's where your truest magic lives. Thank you so much for joining me today. I hope my experience and its contemplations resonated with you. And I invite you to carry them with you as you go about your day. If you found this episode helpful, please do share it with someone who might benefit from hearing it too. And as always, I love hearing from you, so feel free to reach out and let me know your thoughts. Keep shining that brilliant light of yours, those glimmering speckles of your innate divinity. Until next time.